There is one photo I took that I've never shown anyone. It's black and white, singed at the corners. At first glance, it looks like a jungle trail, a distant hut, and a figure beside it. But the figure has no face, just smooth, unbroken skin. No eyes, no mouth, no features at all. My name is Dr. Anik Sen. I'm a postdoctoral research fellow in cultural anthropology and esoteric traditions, currently affiliated with the University of Kent. For the past year, I've been based in Meghalaya, Assam, documenting vanishing dialects and forgotten ritual practices along the Brahmaputra basin. I took that photo in Ulohgram, a village near the Assam Meghalaya border. When I tried to return 3 days later, the trail was gone. The river had dried. People claimed it never existed. I don't tell this for shock value. I tell it because it's starting again. Last night I woke up outside my locked apartment, barefoot and shaking, clutching a black stone carved with the same symbol from the photo, a Tantrik yantra. In early 1921, I was conducting fieldwork in northeast India through a cultural anthropology fellowship under the University of Sheffield. My research focused on the survival of endangered dialects and esoteric spiritual practices often excluded from mainstream academic discourse. My base was Meghalaya, but I traveled frequently along the Brahmaputra. One monsoon evening, while sheltering in a tea shop near Bongaigaon, I overheard an elder mention Ulohgram, the village of smoke. According to him, the village had no road, no postal code, and could only be accessed by water. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "If you go, carry something you're willing to lose." I assumed it was local folklore, symbolic perhaps, but something in his tone left me unsettled. The next day, I asked around. Most dismissed it, some turned silent. Eventually, a forest ranger named Sarah Das agreed to speak privately. He claimed the village lay beyond the now-defunct Kalia River in land long abandoned. Legend had it a Tantrik once lived there who could warp perception, even erase memory. He could unmake remembrance itself, Sarah whispered. Before we parted, he handed me a location scribbled on torn newspaper. "Do not go alone," he said. Sarat introduced me to a retired ferryman named Hari Dekar, who once transported cargo up the Kalia River. When I mentioned Ulohgram, Hari studied me for a long moment, then nodded. "We go at dusk." "Ah," he said. That evening we set out. Before boarding, Hari blindfolded me. "The path resists memory," he murmured. I hesitated, but complied. I could hear the rhythmic creak of oars, the occasional splash of fish, the thick silence of a jungle that seemed to breathe. When we arrived, the air felt heavy and damp, like moving through water. The village had no metal, no modern construction, just bamboo dwellings and one disturbing temple, adorned with black cloth, bone charms, and hand-carved sigils. The villagers never spoke to me. Their eyes were hollow, expressions slack. Phones failed instantly. My device glitched and shut down. I switched to paper and pen. One name kept surfacing in whispers. Baba Nifrati. Not a man, they said, but a boundary. A wall between the known and the forbidden. Baba Nivrati existed only in absence. No photographs, no stories, just the void where he had been. But one dusk, he emerged. He was performing a funeral rite near the jungle's edge. His body shimmered with a layer of white ash, his robe like shadows stitched together. His hair was a matted crown of wild strands. His face was smeared with ochre and black. Around his neck hung bones, some unmistakably human. His eyes glowed faintly red, not reflection, illumination. He passed me without a word and pressed a folded parchment into my palm. It held a yantra, spiraling, hypnotic, with interlocking eyes. As I looked, it seemed to move. That night, the forest pulsed with drums. Smoke poured from the trees. I followed the sound, drawn like prey. I arrived at a clearing lit by smoldering torches. Villagers stood in circles, their mouths sewn shut with thread. In the center was a boy bound to a wooden altar. They said he was possessed, not by a ghost, but by a thought that had taken form. Baba Nivrati began to chant. The yantra was drawn in ash and turmeric, its geometry exact. At each point, he placed copper bowls filled with blood and camphor. Cotton wicks soaked in ghee flared like dying stars. His chants reversed themselves mid-air, syllables unspoke as they were spoken. The boy convulsed, his limbs twisting unnaturally. His scream was not his own. It echoed like 1,000 voices crying from underground. Then, silence, a stillness that pressed on the chest. Baba approached me. "You record stories," he said, "but some stories record you." He anointed my brow with oil as cold as death. The world shuddered. Then, nothing. I awoke in my guest house in Bongaigaon. 36 hours had passed. My journal was gone. My camera held one photo, the smooth-faced figure. My audio recorder showed 0 files. My clothing was soaked in mud. My arms bore human bite marks. I tried to return with a local guide, but the river was missing. The forest had reshaped itself. No one had heard of Harideka. When I contacted the forestry office asking for Sarat Das, they informed me he had died in 1917 in a landslide near Manas National Park. The newspaper scrap? Now just a watermark. The same labyrinthine yantra. 1 month later, a parcel arrived. No return address. Inside was a page from my journal, torn and smudged. On it, my own sketch of the eye labyrinth. On the back it read, "Ulohgram was never a place. It was a story told so well, it became real. And now, it remembers." I found this battered, mildew-stained journal labeled simply Field Notes, Anik Sen, Assam, 1921, while cataloguing forgotten field reports in the university archives. In 2009, inside, tucked between the pages, was a photograph, aged, singed at the edges, a jungle trail, a distant hut, and a figure standing beside it, faceless, with smooth, unbroken skin. There is no record of Anik Sen, no enrollment, no travel documents, no funding. Yet the journal is detailed, visceral, and terrifying. The final page ends mid-sentence. Ulohgram wasn't meant to be found. I didn't visit it. It visited me. Since bringing this journal to light, the archives section has suffered unexplained power outages. Several interns refused to work near it, reporting strange noises and symbols appearing mysteriously on their desks. The journal is now sealed in a climate-controlled vault. But the photograph It has vanished. I cannot explain what Anik Sen experienced, but one thing is clear: some stories refuse to be forgotten. And now, this story remembers us.